Alright guys, hey, MelodicArtist here with Ben the Cave Spider 2, my wonderful editor. We will be doing our Halloween fanfic reading. Sorry we weren't able to do it tomorrow night because I will be out late trick-or-treating with my friend in real life. I'm pretty sure I won't get back till late, so I thought right now would be a good time. And, okay. So, do you want to start, Ben?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so we're reading a fanfic called Silence by Blaappy?
Blaappy.
Okay. So, do you want to start off, Ben?
Should I start reading the title or the actual story?
Just read a few sentences and I'll continue off where you were.
Alright. Silence reigned. Almost. An infernal tapping sounded outside, steadily getting louder as horrific moans echoed within the nearly dead world. It had been 3 days since the infection, and 5 remained. Twilight shook with utter terror. She had been trapped with the library with her friends for almost a week, or maybe it had been a month, or 3 days. Time had lost all meaning. Her eyes darted nervously around, observing her friends carefully. They were all situated in separate corners of the desolate room, not daring to speak to one another. They all stared at each other, as if waiting for someone to make the first move. Rainbow Dash sat in the corner opposite Twilight, shaking uncontrollably. Her head would dart up ever so often, as if she heard a sound completely silent to the rest of them. Her wings fluttered nervously, her body pale and malnourished.
Fluttershy was standing by the stairs, completely still. Her wings were glued to her side. Her light pink mane was ruffled and dirty. She had been like this ever since they had killed Angel in order to obtain food. She had cried the whole night, hugging her former pet's skull against her chest. Then she had moved by the stairs and stopped showing any trace of emotion. Pinkie Pie and Applejack sat closely to each other. Pinkie Pie had buried her unusually exuberant face into Applejack's mane. Her shoulders heaved up and down as she let tears run silently down her face. Applejack slowly stroked the pink pony's back, her face sullen. Her hat laid by her side, faded and tearing. She had taken it off the day the infection had swept through the land and refused to put it back on. The scratching at the door intensified suddenly. Twilight jumped, startled. She was beginning to feel hysterics clutching her brain. Anticipating the final moment when she broke, she began to giggle quietly to herself as she started to realize how condemned they were. Her laughing started to ascend, becoming a crazed laugh as the others stared at her, wondering what they should do.
Then Fluttershy spoke up. Twilight, she whispered, Are you alright? Twilight whipped her head toward Fluttershy, her eye twitching infernally. Of course I'm alright, Fluttershy. With the exception of certain death knocking on my door, I'm just fine. Twilight started to slowly move toward Fluttershy, never breaking eye contact. Fluttershy eaved nervously, unsure about how to react to Twilight's sudden outburst. Twilight's horn started to glow, and Fluttershy was soon encased in the insane unicorn's magical aura. Wait, Twilight, I'm sorry. Wait, don't do this, please. Fluttershy started to scream as she was levitated slowly toward the door. Twilight smirked maliciously. Don't worry, Fluttershy, she snickered. I just need you to take care of the animals rampaging out here. They seem to be acting unruly and scratching up the paint on my front door. Why don't you just go outside and distract them? After all, you're the animal expert. Twilight laughed maniacally as she started to open the door. Rainbow Dash yelled. Twilight paused momentarily, distracted by the sudden interruption. Seeing this opportunity, Rainbow flexed her wings and tackled Twilight as hard as she could just before Twilight opened the door. Losing her concentration, Twilight let go of her hold on Fluttershy as she flew backward and hit the wall with a sickening crunch.
Twilight grimaced in pain. She had tried to regain her focus. Dizziness clouded her mind. All of a sudden, she felt a warm ooze sliding down on her forehead. She brought her hoof up to her head, rubbing off what she thought was to be perspiration. When she pulled her forehoof down, she froze. On it was blood. It ran down her hoof slowly, sticking and drying to her skin. Twilight stared at the blood, her pupils shrinking as she took in the red liquid running down her body. She snapped. Her head darted to Pinkie Pie and Applejack, who was silently cowering and crying in the corner this whole time. She smiled. Pinkie Pie! Applejack! The two miserable ponies looked up suddenly. Why are you so sad? It's a beautiful day outside. Go out and enjoy yourselves. Maybe I'll even come along and we can learn about the magic of friendship together. Then we can write a letter to Princess Celestia. The shrieks outside increased in volume. The scratching ascended to a banging. The other 4 ponies glanced helplessly at each other, considering Twilight. Twilight stopped, confused. What were they planning for her? Fluttershy started to advance slowly on Twilight, the other 3 walking quietly behind her. Twilight twitched. What are you guys doing? Why are you surrounding me? I'm sorry we have to do this, Twilight. We have no other choice, Fluttershy said quietly. The others nodded solemnly behind her.
What do you mean? Twilight stuttered, desperation in her voice. But you're beginning to act like Rarity did before we had to get rid of her, Fluttershy whispered. Twilight's eyes widened as she realized her fate. No, 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 no! Twilight started to scream horribly as her friends grabbed her suddenly and lifted her up. They quickly lifted her over to the door before she could react. Twilight wailed helplessly as Applejack started to open up the door. I'm so sorry we had to do this, Twilight, Pinkie cried, tears flowing from her face. Applejack whipped open the door, revealing the undead that had been waiting there, eager to feast on the living. Before they could start to converge inside, Twilight's friends heaved her into the crowd of mutilated zombies. Rainbow Dash quickly shut the door before they had to witness Twilight's death. No! Twilight's horrific screams were cut off as the undead feasted on Twilight's body. Gross and sickening sounds echoing through the door as the zombies tore apart Twilight's form. As the deformed zombies had their vomit-inducing meal, the remaining four slowly walked back to the separate corners and sat down. Silence reigned. Almost.
Woo! Okay, that was really good. That was, wow. I didn't even read that yet, and that was really good. What'd you think?
Nah, it was okay. It was decent.
It was awesome, to be honest. I really liked it. This is what I like to see from certain people who write stories. I wish I should write stuff like this, which I do, because I do write fanfiction, which I do have a link to my website profile in my About section on my channel, so you guys should probably go check that out. But, yeah, that was pretty good. I like that. Alright, so do you want to find another one, or you want to end it here?
I guess we can end it here.
Alright, well, so that was Silence, a really awesome fanfic that Ben found. So I guess that's it. I'm MelodicArtist.
And I'm Ben McGive Spider 2.
And we'll see you all later. Bye!
See ya, guys!